Good morning. Let's get started today standing at the top of our mats in mountain pose. And take a moment to settle into your Tadasana. Feet can be about hip-width distance apart. Hands can rest by your sides, maybe palms facing forward today for a little more opening. Soft bend in the knees, and then maybe close the eyes if you'd like, if that feels safe. And then maybe begin to shift your weight forward and back. Just notice how that subtle shift in the weight can change how it feels in the pose. Eventually finding center, see if you can root down into the four corners of the feet. As you press down, inhale, see if you can lengthen up through the crown of the head, maybe stand up nice and tall. And on your exhale, can you relax shoulders away from ears, send that breath back down into the earth. Again, full breath in. Full breath out. This time we'll press down into the feet. Inhale, lengthen the arms up overhead, maybe lift your gaze. This time we'll interlace our fingers, release that pointer finger. You can bring your feet out a little bit wider if you'd like for a little more stability. Then we'll begin to hinge from side to side, creating some movement here through the side body. Gaze can stay forward or maybe it lifts up overhead if that feels good in the neck. Maybe even turning side to side. And then any other little movements, maybe begin to draw some circles or figure eights on the ceiling. You can start small, maybe getting a little larger. And if you're going in one direction, switching sides. About 2 or 3 more breaths here to even out. When you feel about even, we'll pause through center. We'll take it into a deep back bend. So as you press into the feet, inhale, begin to lengthen the chest up, and then begin to take it back. You can keep the bind, maybe cactus the arms or hands and come to the low back. 2 more breaths here. 1 more full breath in. And on your exhale, release the bind, begin to swan dive forward, find a forward fold. Soft bend in the knees, you can let the head hang heavy. Maybe pedal out the legs, you can shake the head yes and no. Eventually we'll take an inhale to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And on your exhale, plant your hands. We'll step back, meet in downward facing dog, optional Vinyasa, Chaturanga here if you'd like. Eventually we'll make our way into downward facing dog, no rush to get there. Any little movements that you need, you can pedal out through the legs, maybe shake the head yes and no. Then as you're ready, we'll inhale, that right leg will lift. You can bend your knee, maybe stack your hips. You can take circles with the knees or bend and straighten the leg, just yawning that hip open on the right side. Eventually we'll step our right foot between the hands, lower the back knee, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. So hands can come to hips, maybe arms extend up overhead, or maybe hands to blocks if you had them. A few breaths here. You can take some pulses, really create some space into the hips. We'll take another full breath in. And on your exhale, we'll straighten the front leg, find a half split. We'll take that into a little flow. So as you inhale, we'll begin to shift your weight forward, low lunge. On your exhale, half split. About 3 or 4 more breaths here, just going at your own pace. You can keep the hands grounded, or maybe you extend the arms up overhead as you come into that low lunge. And on your exhale, you can begin to straighten, airplane the arms behind you. And next time you land in that low lunge, we'll take a little pause here. This time we'll make our way into lizard lunge. So plant the hands on the inside of your right foot. We'll heel toe that right foot forward and then out wide. You can stay in a more active lizard if you'd like, so tuck your left toes, lift your knee. Maybe begin to shift your weight forward and back, create a little movement here into the hips. About 3 more breaths. Option is stay here in this movement. You can find stillness or lower the back knee, maybe bring your forearms down. 2 more breaths. You can choose to stay here, or we'll add a little twist. So left hand will come down to the inside of your right foot. Right arm will open up into a little twist. 3 more breaths. You can go a little deeper if you'd like. Right fingers can lengthen towards that left foot. You can pivot the right toes over towards the right side. Maybe bring the gaze over the right shoulder. Take one more full breath in. And on your exhale, plant the hands to the inside of the foot. We'll step your left foot back, Malasana. And make your way into a yogi squat. Can heel toe your feet out a little bit wider if you need to. Hands can come to prayer. Take 3 breaths here. One more full breath in. And on your exhale, plant your hands, pivot the heels, ragdoll, lift your hips. And meeting in this forward fold, soft bend in the knees. You can shake the head yes and no, maybe take a bind. You can interlace hands behind your back or hands behind the head. And 2 more breaths. If you have that bind, you can slowly release. Plant your hands, step back. Optional chaturanga here, high to low plank. Breath into upward facing or cobra. And on your exhale, downward facing dog. As you're ready, inhale, that left leg will lift. You can bend your knee, maybe stack your hips, stillness or movement on this side. You can play with straightening or bending the leg. Take one more full breath in. And as you're ready, left foot between the hands, we'll lower the back knee on Vinyasa. Low crescent lunge. Option to bring hands to hips once again, hands to blocks, or maybe extend arms up overhead, any other arm variation. About 2 or 3 breaths here on this side. You can take some pulses, getting a little more hip opening through that left side. Maybe even slide that right knee back, get a little more stretch across the front of that right hip flexor. As you're ready, we'll take that into the flow. So on your exhale, we'll straighten the front leg, send your hips back, half split. As you inhale, begin to shift your weight back forward, find that low lunge. A few more just like that. Hands can stay grounded, or maybe you add the arms as you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, you can airplane them back. I'm trying to find a little cat-cow movement here in the spine. So as you inhale, open up through the chest. And exhale, round through the spine as you tuck your chin in towards your chest. Next time you land in that low lunge, we'll take a little pause here, shift your weight forward. Lizard lunge, plant your hands on the inside of your left foot. Heel toe that left foot out wide. You can lift your right knee if you'd like. Create a little more space between your front leg and your back leg. Maybe shift your weight forward and back. Create a little movement here into the hips. And you can choose to stay here or maybe lower the back knee. You can lower the forearms. And you can choose to stay or option to take that twist. So this time, right hand down towards the mat, left arm opens up. And then maybe you lift your gaze. A few more breaths here. You can take it a little deeper. This time we'll pivot the left toes to turn out to about 10 o'clock. Left hand will reach towards that right foot. Maybe the gaze follows. 2 more breaths. As you're ready, we'll plant the hands to the inside of the foot. Tuck your back toes, step it forward, Malasana, second step. Maybe notice the hips can go a little bit deeper. 2 more breaths here, hands can come to prayer. And see if you can maybe open up through the chest a little more. Bring your gaze forward, 1 more full breath in. And on your exhale, we'll make our way to ragdoll. So pivot the toes forward, lift your hips, plant your hands. Second set here, you can take a different bind or maybe the same bind, let the head hang heavy. Then as you're ready, if you have that bind, slowly release. We'll press down into the feet, inhale, reach the arms up overhead. We'll come up to standing, maybe lift your gaze. Maybe find a little back bend here. Then as you're ready, hands to heart center, pausing here, Tadasana. And take a full breath in, full breath out. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Thank you so much for joining me in this 10-minute flow, and I hope to see you next time on your mat. Thank you.